Next topic is about the 6 co-conspirators that were unmasked by Representative Ro Khanna and Thomas Macy. You know that I sometimes disagree with them, but I think that this was a good thing because there's this question. These 6 dudes were, they say, redacted. We had this classified page of redacted people, and we could only see Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And then it showed that there were a lot of many more people, including victims. This was shared by Thomas Macy again. And he was mentioning, for example, Zurab Mikeladze and also Leonid Leonov, Nicola Caputo. There are a couple dudes here that I'm missing. Salvatore Nuara, but it's not that they were exactly secret or hidden, because I found out that 2 of them were mentioned hundreds, if not thousands of times in the Epstein files. And you might be asking, okay, what is all the fuss about? Why should we care about this 2 that everybody is saying that they have something, they have this kind of secret agenda? But I wanted to listen to what they wanted to say. So, Ro Khanna said there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. And yes, I know that people want to know why so many names that apparently should not be redacted are redacted. So, let's listen to his argument, see what he has to say.
Yesterday, Congressman Massey and I...
Sorry, I want to fix this a bit. We go.
I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted. In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake, and now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zurab Mikeladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputo, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI.
Sorry, notice that I was muted. Something that I'm not going to defend the DOJ, and anyway, I think that they have to do their job, and anybody who has any sort of job, even if it's redacting 3 million files, has to do their job and do it well, especially when we're talking about such a sensitive topic. But again, it's 3 million files and images and videos, and could happen that, in the haste of trying to redact the stuff because of the victims, they said, okay, there are victims on this page, we're going to just redact the whole thing. Again, it's like I'm going to address some other topics about this, going to be a bit darker, in which people are saying that this is something that people are actually demanding online, every single piece or paper or video or image in the Epstein files should have some kind of Cliff's Notes, all right? Some kind of Cliff's Notes to understand what the piece of information is about, which would take literally years. If you have to make one annotation and consult that annotation with other people making annotations, you're going to take years because of that. And we're going to continue this to keep addressing.
Now, my question is, why did it take Thomas Massey and me going to the Justice Department to get these 6 men's identities to become public? And if we found 6 men that they were hiding in 2 hours, imagine how many men they are covering up for in those 3 million files. But the story gets worse. The reality is that Donald Trump's FBI scrubbed these files in March, long before Thomas Massey and I passed the Epstein Transparency Act. Now, my bill is clear. The Epstein Transparency Act requires them to unredact those FBI files.
Well, as everybody is asking, of course, is why weren't they this intense during the Biden administration? I don't know, but I have some ideas of why.
And yet the Justice Department said to me and to Congressman Massey, we just uploaded whatever the FBI sent us. And guess what? The FBI sent scrubbed files. That means the survivor's statement to the FBI naming rich and powerful men who went to Epstein's island, who went to his ranch, who went to his home and raped and abused underage girls or saw underage girls being paraded, they're all hidden. They're all redacted. It's a little bit of a farce. They're inviting all the members of Congress to go to see the Department of Justice, quote unquote, unredacted files, but they've got all redacted files from the FBI.
Yeah, but this is a thing that I wouldn't understand. Isn't the FBI, isn't the DOJ in charge of the FBI as a branch, or don't they have the unredacted original files somewhere? I really don't know, but I think that, yeah, this is another thing. If you want to take a look at 3 million files, maybe you can do that digitally, as I guess that a congressman can go to a local database and be able to look for that. That should be easy to do. But the problem is, other problem is that there are still things going on with grand juries right now. So it's like one thing. This is something that I misunderstood a few days ago. It's not like there are no prosecutions or there are no processes. It's like that the DOJ say these are the files that we can release. We have no more legal obligations. They release the files. That doesn't mean that there are no grand jury processes happening right now. And of course, those grand jury processes mean that those people, both victims and perpetrators, those names have to remain redacted. That is another thing. So in this case, I have to say that Ro Khanna has a point. Okay, he absolutely has a point. But we need to understand, again, that this is way more complex than anybody could imagine. Now, my criticism or my observation still stands that they kind of waited until Donald Trump was in office, although to be fair, both Ro Khanna and Massey have pointed not only, Donald Trump, but they haven't said anything directly about Donald Trump because they know that Trump is mentioned in the files, but not in the way that people were expecting. And especially Democrats, the ones that still have some kind of level-headed common sense, they know that they can't just say crazy stuff about Donald Trump because the way that he's actually mentioned in the Epstein files, like either misleading tips or the one who exposed Epstein in the first place. But at the same time, we again, this is a complicated system. I digress a bit, but I really wanted to show you what Ro Khanna was presenting here.
And it's not the fault of the Justice Department attorneys. They were just told upload things that Donald Trump's FBI had already scrubbed. It's a blatant violation of the Epstein Transparency Act, but it also asks a fundamental question. Who are they protecting? Why are they protecting these rich and powerful men, people I call part of the Epstein class? Why are we in a country where there is no elite accountability for people who do the most heinous things?
Okay, one thing is, of course, you always want to have a narrative. It's something that you do in propaganda, in politics, in mass communications. You can grab something that could have been a mistake that shouldn't have happened from the DOJ or from the FBI, whatever. They mistakenly redacted these people's names in some parts, but they remain unredacted in thousands of other documents, and you put it like they're hiding something. Yeah, you're essentially at the same time, Ro Khanna tries to add some drama to this, cherry picking the fact that, they are redacting this. Yeah, but so many of these people's names are all over the Epstein files at the same time. So yeah, it's a bit of theatrics, a bit of drama, to add some spice to it.
You have in England the king now calling for an investigation and possible prosecution of his own brother.
Which is the right thing to do. Big props to King Charles.
You have in Norway the princess who no longer has support to be the queen. And yet in the United States of America, we have someone in the cabinet, Howard Lutnick, who is all over these Epstein files, who allegedly had business with Epstein after he was convicted of pedophilia, and he still is in the cabinet. We need to ask ourselves, are we in America going to have elite accountability? Are we going to call on rich and powerful people who broke the law or cavorted with a pedophile, a convicted pedophile? Are we going to call them to account?
The problem here that I see is when you say that somebody was a co-conspirator with Jeffrey Epstein, the concept of, or the term co-conspirator is so broad that implies basically any sort of contact with the guy. It's almost any sort of contact. I'm going to give you one example at the end of Ro Khanna's speech.
Are we going to have prosecutions for billionaires who went to this island and either raped underage girls or saw underage girls being raped and didn't say anything? Are we going to have investigations? I'll tell you what this is about. It's not just about the 1,200 survivors. It's about 2 tiers of justice in America. It's about people who can accumulate wealth and power and don't have to care about the rest of America.
Again, I'm going to ask the question again. Nice 10 out of 10 speech. Very good, projection of voice. Very good point. Why didn't you make all these points during the Biden administration? It is just a question. It's just a curiosity.
They have destroyed so much of this country. Income inequality is at a 60-year high. Workers' salaries are less than they have been.
Okay, you're missing the point. That's not the point of the topic, but whatever.
For 75 years as a part of GDP. Somehow this country seems to be working for the rich and powerful, but it's not working for ordinary working class Americans. I say enough. It's time to begin with accountability for the Epstein class. Hold them in front of Congress, those people who visited the island or did business with Epstein after he was a convicted pedophile.
That was very populist of him, the Epstein class. I'm not gonna lie, the guy knows about propaganda and knows how to use it.
Investigate them, prosecute them, and let's return to democratic accountability in the United States of America. Let's return to one system of justice in the United States of America. Let's return to a place where every American has a stake in this country.
Nice speech. There's a, let's say like a problem, because there's, for example, this Lex Werner, who was one of the names exposed in this, let's say in this unredaction of the files. And the problem is that, yeah, he is listed as a co-conspirator, but there are a couple things that I've told you that happen all the time. And I mentioned that it's not only the people who was, let's say, doing things to children and to kids and teens, but also the ones who were involved in terms of finances with Epstein. And in the case of Lex Wexner, what this points to is not that the guy was, or at least there's no trace of any sort of evidence that say that he was doing anything to kids. But in the finances department, well, the investigation could be about how his paths crossed with Epstein in terms of finances. So that is one thing. So yeah, that is part of what I'm going to address in the following topic, is that so many people say that, okay, you were named here, your name was redacted either on purpose, could be, either by mistake, could be as well, and it is unredacted, automatically you are a PDF file. That doesn't work that way. that is not how it works. And again, you can be related to Jeffrey Epstein with nefarious actions, with heinous actions in many levels, of course, any levels that one can imagine, including, but not limited to, finances. And it seems that this guy, Les Wexner, is in the latter, but we need to find more, let's say, dig deeper down this rabbit hole. But meanwhile, I would love to know, what do you think about this in the comments? My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the battle language guy. Much love.